There was a young man who was apprenticed to a master who did the most beautiful stained glass that anyone had ever seen. And this apprentice really wanted to do the kind of work that his master did. And he just knew that he simply wasn't achieving it. And so one day he asked if he could use his master's tools, because he thought if he could just use the tools that he would be able to produce the beautiful work that the master did. And so he did use the tools, and he used them for a while. And then he said to his teacher, "You know, I'm just not doing any better than I did before. Your tools don't seem to make any difference." And the master said, "So it's not the tools of the master that you need. It's the spirit of the master that you need." You know, here at Unity, we teach a lot of tools. We teach many, many tools of how we can have a better life. The things that we can do in our lives today that is going to create a better tomorrow. And as we do that, we know that this better tomorrow is ours. It is ours as we move through this day, making the right choices in our lives and using these tools of prayer and meditation, affirmation, denial, all of the things that we teach here. And these tools will only take us so far, but they're not going to take us to where we really want to be. They're not going to take us all the way to experiencing the Spirit of God that we want to be. We want to be spiritual masters as well. That is our goal. That's what we came here to do. We came here to remember who we are, and we came here to become that person that simply shows it in everything they do. Jesus said, "God is spirit and must be worshipped in spirit and in truth." And these are things that cannot be learned but must be experienced. We can learn, and that takes us to a certain place. But until we experience the Spirit within our own lives, we are not going to be able to see that manifesting through us. How many of you are enjoying spring? Good, good. You know, I am too, and we've been waiting a long time for it. Ordinarily, so you know, remember last year when spring came so early? And it was like, whoa, this is great, we love it. But sometimes we take things for granted, even spring, even the seasons, and we don't really pay too much attention to them, and it's no big deal. But boy, this year it was really a big deal, I thought. And I'm hoping it gets here still. We get little previews. And that's kind of how it is in spirit as well. We get little previews. We get these moments in our lives when we feel that wonder, when we feel the beauty of the universe, and we begin to feel that stirring within us that tells us that Spirit is moving in our lives. And when we have that feeling, we are able to really appreciate everything around us. You know, I would suggest, if it's not raining out, that after the service, you go outside and you notice the splendor in the grass and the beauty that's in the flowers outside. I think they're just marvelous. And sometimes what I found that I do is I drive by. Do you all drive by? But you don't actually get out there with it. You look out the window, you drive by, but you don't actually get out there, take your shoes off and walk in the grass. You don't actually get down and really look deeply into a flower, into the face of this miraculous thing that is occurring. Take some time to see and to feel the majesty. For these are outer expressions of creativity, which is of spirit. If you have experienced bliss, you are expressing Spirit. When you are filled to overflowing with joy and happiness, and then you are expressing Spirit. All of these things are an indication of an experience of God. And they're all part of our everyday lives as we allow them and make the choices that we feel them moving in and through us. We do this by practicing in many, many ways. We practice meditation and prayer. It is when we go deep, deep within ourselves that we find that Spirit is indwelling within each one of us. It is there. It is from that place that we begin then to make our choices and our decisions in our lives. It is from that place when all of the decisions we make seem to flow perfectly and clearly, and things are not, oh, should I do this or should I do that? It's like, yes, this is the way. And you're just shown that. And it's just so much easier that way. Because I live with, I'm a Libra. And Libra is like, it's like, well, should I do this or should I do that? Is this better or is that better? I don't know. Is this equal to that? Am I treating this person like that person? Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible to be a Libra. Because you just can't make up your mind sometimes. And I went through a lot of life like that. And I've noticed in the last few years that I'm starting to just let that go and just wait for the answer to come. There's really no urgency in most of this. No urgency at all. Life moves on, and you're going to make a decision, and sometimes that decision is to do nothing. And I found that to be sometimes a real blessing in my life, that I've waited and done nothing until that answer came to me, and I knew right in that moment that that was what I was supposed to do. Hopefully, we were raised by loving, caring, kind, respectful parents. And we had that kind of people all around us. And hopefully our teachers were the same way. They were supportive. They really helped us in so many ways. But we may not have had that in our life. Not everyone does. And when that happens, we start getting these other messages in our life that tell us that we're not good enough, that we're separated from the good in life, that things are not going to go well for us. We may have been shamed. We may have been called names. And that has created erroneous beliefs within us. Erroneous beliefs about ourselves and others. And from this, we often become lonely, controlling, angry, and anxious. Now, what this does with us is it creates a lack of vision. Because when we are in a lack consciousness, when there's not enough of anything, there's not enough love, there's not enough peace, there's not enough happiness, we become very narrow. The lack of vision doesn't have to be our destiny, though. Even though these things may have happened to us as time went on, we can change them. We do not have to stay stuck in them. We can deconstruct our stories and beliefs by courageously contacting the raw feelings that live beneath them. Not pleasant work. Not pleasant at all, and most of us avoid it as much as possible. But in order to have a breakthrough, you must go there. And you must look beneath those raw feelings. And when we bring a mindful kind of attention to the actual sensory experience, we naturally begin to connect with the vibrant flow and the spacious presence that is our true essence. It's our true essence. Have you ever heard someone say, I had someone come in one day to the church and they said, I can't believe it. The ceiling hasn't fallen down on me. And I said, well, why do you say that? And they said, well, the kind of life I've lived, and I haven't been inside a church for years and years and years, I figure, something drastic's going to happen if I come here. And I said, well, the only drastic thing that's going to happen if you come here and you put your mind to what we're doing here is change. That's all that's going to happen. And the change will be for the better. And so, and then as we learn, as we study, as we grow, rather than buy into limiting beliefs, we can relate to them with a wise and compassionate attention. You see, we don't put anything under the rug here. When we talk about denials, we're not talking about denying what is. We're simply talking about the reality of what it looks like. In an article in the Little Science of Mind magazine, the article is named Beyond the Veils of Beliefs. Tara Brach writes this: the beliefs that bind us are real, but not true. This phrase was said by the great Buddhist teacher Rinpoche, and Brock says this phrase is a great tool for understanding how we can wake up from our trance of unworthiness. How we can wake up from our trance of unworthiness. The constricting beliefs and related feelings are real in that they are actively arising in our body and psyche, but they aren't true. They aren't true. They're based on an interpretation of reality, a construction in the mind that is rooted in a core perception of separateness. At some time or another, we have all felt separate from God. We have all felt like we've been forsaken. And yet, it has never been. We cannot be separate from God. God, our Creator, created us, and a part of the Creator is in us. We live in a dream that features a character we call self, and we fuel the self's felt experience of deficiency and fear with incessant inner dialogue. As long as we're taking the dream of illusion, our beliefs and stories as truth, we are imprisoned living in a painfully narrow sliver of reality. From this perspective, we can have no vision. The chief of a tribe of Indians was dying, and he summoned his 3 sons, and he said, I am dying, and one of you must succeed me as head of our tribe. I want each of you to climb our holy mountain and bring back something beautiful. The one whose gift is most outstanding will become chief. After several days, the 3 sons returned, and the first son brought the father a flower, a very, very rare flower from near the summit of the mountain. The second son brought a beautiful, colorful stone that was smooth and round, and it had been molded by the rain and by the wind and the sand. And then the third son came, and he said, Father, I have brought nothing back to you. As I stood on top of Holy Mountain, I saw there on the other side a beautiful meadow, so green and lush, and a beautiful sparkling lake. And I have a vision of where our tribe would go for a better life. I was so overwhelmed by what I saw and what I was thinking that I could not bring anything back. The Father replied, "You shall be our tribe's new leader, for you have brought back the most precious thing of all, the gift of vision for a better future." We must all have a high vision for our life, a life that is greater than we can see with our senses. What is your vision for a better life? You know, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. Everyone needs a vision for their life. Everyone needs a vision. No matter what that vision may be, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I have found when there is no vision, the person perishes. And so these things, all of these things, sometimes we think it's a new place. We need a new place. We need a change of scene. But these are not things. People and places are not what we're looking for. We are looking for an expansion to come. And these things come, these wonderful things, which do enhance our lives, come as a result of the vision that we are holding. They come as an awareness of our spiritual nature. We can expand our vision just as the Indian brave did when he went to the mountaintop. And we can interpret that as he went within. He went to the mountaintop and looked up from the ground. He did not look to the outer world. He did not look down. But he went to a high place in consciousness and he caught a vision of a better life. The vision that we are more than we have ever dreamed. For many years, Jean Houston, one of the great mystics and teachers of our time, told us that we were gods in hiding. But now she's changed that. We all grow in consciousness. And now she says, but now we are to live the life of a God, no longer in hiding. We are the magnificent human. We are each called to be the magnificent human. Isn't that wonderful? How does that make you feel? Just say that to yourself. I am a magnificent human. Doesn't that feel good? Do you believe it? The trick is to believe it. Then you'll be it. At the Unity National Conference this last year, Jean Houston was the keynote speaker. And in her talk, she used the word entelechy. And I loved that word. I thought, ooh, that is a cool word. And I wondered really what it meant. Sounded good, though. I liked it. And this was a word that she got from her friend, Pierre Teilhard Desjardins, who she happened to know and take walks with in Central Park in New York City. And she didn't know really who he was, and maybe you don't either. He was a Catholic priest that was way ahead of his time in the spiritual realm. Look him up. He's very interesting on his own. Really interesting, in fact. They had walked together in Central Park, and entelechy, he used that word. And he'd say, Jean, what is your entelechy? And entelechy means the dynamic purpose encoded within each person. I'm going to say that again. Entelechy means the dynamic purpose encoded within each person. So what is your entelechy? What is your divine purpose? Because you have one. And it's encoded within you. So you can't lose it. It's there. You just have to go within and find out what it is. Many people, I have found, miss the point of spirituality and religion. They believe, some people believe, that religion is reading a sacred book to see what others did 2,000 years ago. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to read that, and I'll bet that calls for me. It's Spirit calling us all, is what it is. Saying, wake up and pay attention. The whole spiritual experience should be that it is guiding you forward in your life, not backwards. It's good to read the Bible. It's good to read whatever holy book that you find useful to you. And it does give us many, many insights, but it's not to go backwards. It's to take us forwards. It's to take us into a new time and a new place. We must see the teaching of religion as a vision of a better future for ourselves. And what we are to become by following Jesus Christ and other great masters. That's what we study religion. That's why we come to churches. It's why we study spirituality and religion. We say here we're not religious, we are spiritual, and it's just a matter of semantics. Jesus Christ and other great masters came to teach us and show us the way, to show us the way. With their lives, they taught us. We are not here to learn about these masters. We are to learn to be our true selves, embracing our divinity as one with them. We follow what they did. We are a church of spirituality, not a church about spirituality. When we are in divine mind, we have a vision for tomorrow. And it is one of the most important things we can do, especially when we are facing difficulty in our lives. It's not outer things, it's inner things. It is to be alive and to spread the joy and the spirit every day of your life. To be a light that glows and gleams and is a part of that perpetual current of energy that is the one omnipresent energy. A lot of us may be like Moses when he was asked to free his people. And we might come up with some excuses like, oh, I know the truth and I know how to do it 10 times better than I'm doing it, but I don't know if I'm prepared. You know, other people are more equipped to do this than I am. What difference, could a little person like me make in the world? What do I have to give that would be enough? And we ask ourselves these questions, which only takes us to a place where we don't want to be, where we're saying we're not enough. My friends, we're all enough. We are magnificent humans.
Amen.
Amen. I'd like to close with an old fable, which I have taken the liberty to change somewhat because it better fits what I want to say today. And besides that, I don't know who wrote this. Jesus returned to heaven, and the archangel Gabriel was talking to him. And Gabriel said, Jesus, do all the people understand what you were trying to show them? And Jesus replied, Oh, no, not yet. Right now, only a few people know in Palestine. And Gabriel was perplexed, and he said, then what have you done to let everybody know about their divinity? And Jesus said, I have asked Peter, Andrew, James, John, and a few others to tell others about my teachings. Those who are told will tell others, and they will tell others, and they will tell others, until the last man and woman on the corners of the earth will know and have heard the story of love. Gabriel frowned and looked rather skeptical. Yes, but what if Peter and the others grow weary? What if the people who come after them forget? Surely you have made other plans. And Jesus said, Gabriel, I have made no other plans. I'm counting on them. Spirit is counting on us. We are the salt of the earth. We are the light of the world. Some of you may be questioning this morning, what is my dynamic purpose, my entelechy? What have I been encoded to do? Well, part of that is to let your light shine, to give away the love, the kindness that you have within you, and show everyone by the life you live to become 10 times better at living than you are now living. When people look at you, they will see how different people, they will see spirit. When people look at you, they will see spirit because you are so transparent in your divinity. I invite you to visit the Centered Wellness Open House this afternoon and see how different people are expressing their divinity. We all have gifts to give. Just look inside yourself. Each person in this room is a miracle. It's a miracle that you're here at all. We each express spirit in our own unique way, and only we can express it in that way. Let's live our lives in such a way that everyone knows. When you do, others will say, what do you have that I don't have? Why are you so happy? And they will want some for themselves. And we know that this is true because others have shown us their divinity. And we have seen it in them. Thank you. And so it is. Amen.